Hello, everyone. This is Ira Feuerstein with the Built Different podcast, where we speak to founders and C-level leaders from some just tremendous companies around the world, really, and we get to hear their stories. Today, I'm really excited to have Todd Talley here. Todd is the president of TeamLogic IT up in beautiful Petaluma, California. I've been fortunate enough to be there many times, and I absolutely love it up there. Todd, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Our
Awesome.
office is
Awesome.
actually up here in Santa Rosa, but I live in Petaluma.
Santa Rosa is good too. It's all good. It's all good up there. So let's just jump right in. So give me the elevator pitch of what TeamLogic IT does.
So we are your outsourced IT department for small to medium-sized businesses. Essentially, it just makes sense for the size of companies, say 15 to 20 people size businesses, to hire a set of professionals rather than having, just hiring one individual. Not only do we have the entire skill set, including security, but the man in the van, the single individual, can't quite handle it when they get to so many clients. And if you bring in an IT professional, they can't necessarily wear all the hats that they need to wear. So it was a very big value statement back in 2015 when I bought the business, and it's just as true today.
That's amazing. Yeah, I can see big need out there for those kind of small to lower mid-market companies. Even the mid-market companies that I've dealt with over the years, sometimes they'll have, let's say, 500 employees and they'll have one IT person.
Yeah. We have a couple cases of that where there's one or two people internally and they have 100 to, you know, 200 employees. They can't afford to be sick, can't afford to
No.
be out of the office. And so
And what do you do on the weekends?
there's a
Weekends,
natural
nights?
co-managed IT where we can work together as an outsourced IT department with some internal IT guys and make that whole experience better as well.
That's right. So walk me through your role as president. I know you bought the company in 2015, but walk me through your role and kind of how it fits into the bigger picture.
So I've built a team over the years. So today my role is to really meet with clients. I would say 60% of the clients that are smaller are my clients. I meet with them a couple clients every week. I typically talk about cybersecurity, where their businesses, how they're doing, and just areas where I see the industry going and where we need to improve to help them to get to standards, the latest cybersecurity standards or business practices. The rest of the time I spend managing my team. So we have a professional services department for to do project works for our clients, so completely separate from the help desk. And then we have a VCIO who is managing also some technical alignment managers, where we actually go into the client's businesses and audit to the standard and see where the gaps are. And that way we can talk to some of the business owners in plain English, like where are the gaps, right?
Yeah.
And then a centralized service guy who takes care of all the tools that we use. You can probably imagine how many tools you need to manage all the end users and all these clients. We have over 100 clients and we take care of about 2,600 people. You need automation to do that.
Yes.
And then a sales
100%.
team, of course, as well.
Yeah, of course. So, it's interesting. I know in our pre-call, you had mentioned you bought the business in 2015. We're now here 10 years out, almost a decade later. And I know you've had some wildly great growth. You want to talk about that a little bit? And you don't need to get into details on numbers and stuff, but let's just talk about it a little bit.
Sure. Well, when I bought it, it was already at the $1 million mark, and that's husband and wife team that owned it, and about six people. And really, I mean, you need scale in order to create business to provide all the services that your clients need. It's really hard, for example, like a technician receives an emergency call, but yet they're committed to a project that day. It's really hard to manage work life on that basis. And the only way to solve it is to create two different departments and keep the work separate. And to do that, you need scale. Yeah, I invested in sales up front. I hired someone to sell, and I've used third party marketing and email lead generation and things like that. But the whole idea is to reinvest in the business and add leadership to it throughout the
Yeah,
years. So
that's
always be
excellent.
selling. That's
Yeah, of
that's the
course.
key. Yeah.
Sell or die. That's the name of the game in business.
Yep.
Because if you're not selling, somebody's stealing your customers. You better believe it,
Well, and
or trying to.
organically, I mean, companies are buying each other. Some of the smaller businesses, I've had a few guys just flat out retire. I'm done. I'm going to hang it up. So, yeah, you always have to be moving and growing. You'll
So
shrink.
yeah, yeah, that's a bad thing. So let's pivot into the industry because I know we're in very strange times here. You got the advent of this little thing called AI. Not that it's impacting anybody, right?
Yeah.
But what major shifts are you seeing in the industry right now? You've got to be seeing stuff.
Yeah. For me, in the last year, it's been pretty heavy security. It's amazing just how easy it is nowadays for people to break into someone else's computer. So we had to up our game in the security front. And then, I mean, I would say AI to the same extent. The important thing is to have a secure platform or a way to experiment with AI without not risking, company data or confidential information. So we're kind of starting at the crawl stage with clients and saying, here's how to secure your AI experience. Like use this partner of ours and your AI experimentation will not be public. And that's kind of the idea is get people used to doing promptings and playing around with automation, how to get more efficient with it, etc.
Yeah, 100%. And for those of you listening, little tip here. If you're using ChatGPT, don't put your financials in there. If you don't want it exposed, I don't care what ChatGPT says that they're not sharing. I would not put it there. Do you agree, Todd?
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
Be
that's how
careful.
these things yeah, that's how these things get more and more powerful. They're ingesting everything. It's no different than Facebook listens to you and they serve you up data based on what they're hearing you say. 5 years ago, people thought that was not even a thing. Now it's coming out, it is a thing. So you got to be super careful. Has the kind of rise of AI affected your strategy or your growth or anything?
It really has from the standpoint of we're all seeing it. You go to Google and you query anything now, you're getting an AI summary, right?
Yeah.
We are planning on having that conversation with every client to find out how they're using it. As the technology partner, we definitely want to be advising them and helping them and being part of the conversation rather than trying to come in from behind and clean up things that happen that don't go the way they planned. I'd rather be upfront and advise than, you know, trying to catch up with something they already decided to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it is going to change. Like we're not used to becoming business process consultants and things. Typically, we're not super embedded in an individual's business process. So yeah, the consultation part of it's a little bit scary. Like, how are we all going to become big time consultants, right? Um, it's really breaking down workflows and seeing how people can automate and do things more efficiently. I have no idea what that's going to look like.
Yeah, that's a typical conundrum of entrepreneurs, right? You have to adapt or you die as a business. You can go back all the way to the advent of voice over IP. Before voice over IP, every business had a telephone person who worked in their office, and that person's job was to punch down cables and do all the stuff and keep it running. Those people who didn't get on the bandwagon of the next generation of phones all lost their jobs. So it's the same here, right? You got to stay
Yeah.
at the cutting edge.
Well, and I know that like in the last 10 years, people were a little bit afraid of going to the cloud being it's going to take away jobs and it's going to be impossible to manage. We're needed as much in the cloud environment as we did when everything was on-prem and on a server in the client's office.
Yeah.
I wish I could say tech has gotten a lot easier, but it really hasn't. You still need professionals to that know how to manage it and maintain it for you. It's
Yeah.
kinda like, you remember that old commercial where the guy's got the car up on the lift in the garage and the oil filter in his hand? He's like, "You can pay me now or pay me
Yeah.
later." It's all
Yep.
about maintenance and understanding what you're doing and preventing the problems from happening.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about growth in the business because you've had astounding growth. Like I've worked with a lot of MSPs over the years, thousands, seriously. And the type of growth that you've had over the last 10 years is really at the upper echelon of what
Hmm.
I've seen. So you should feel really good about that. So I always like to ask, like, in your growth strategy, what is working really well for you right now?
I would say, um, I've been advised otherwise, but being open to businesses that are in your community, no matter what vertical they are, and then really defining the type of client that fits well, and that's something that we've had to work on over the years because it just didn't come naturally right out of the chute. You're dating a little bit different personalities, and you want to be sure that the type of business owner that you're working with is open to the advice and sees IT as a strategic advantage. But I would also say that I invested in sales up front. There are a lot of MSPs that don't. They're owner-driven sales. And if you're the owner and you're wearing all the hats, how much time are you going to really give to sales? Never enough. So I've had a full-time person on sales since I've owned the business, and it makes all the difference. There's always
Well, I've,
someone. I mean, part of my job is to give that guy appointments so he can go and talk to a business owner and convert him into a client.
yeah,
I
yeah,
also know quite a few MSPs that I've tracked with over the years, and I say their limiting factor is really they love the tech, they love to have to wear all the hats, and if you wear all the hats, that's your downside, is you can't dedicate 100% time in areas that you need to.
yeah. And I've noticed with a lot of managed services providers that a lot of these people run it like a lifestyle business, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you're happy at the level you're at right now and you want to operate it that way, hey, that's your prerogative. You're an entrepreneur, you're a grown-up person, you have
Correct.
the ability to do that. Obviously you take the other side of it. You're in that growth mode and you have been since day one. Saying that, there's always when we're looking to grow businesses, there's always things that frustrate us or slow us down. What would be your Achilles heel?
Things that frustrate me or slow me down. Well, there's always the surprises. So the surprises are the ones that decide to leave for one reason or another, or they're purchased all of a sudden and they might be a sizable client. And that's when you have to grow just to stay even, right?
Yeah.
But like a lot of things, as you grow, it gets more complicated. So I do spend time making sure we're all rowing together, talking about the things that make the business work as a team. You can't be, I guess another frustrating thing can be that you can't be everything to everyone. So you have to stake your lane that you're going to participate in, and you can't provide all technology. So sometimes you just have to say no. You have to say, that's not our expertise, but I like to have a referral. I like to have someone that I could refer to say, rather than a no, it's like, no, and here's someone who can really help you with that. So, for
Yes.
example, we don't do voltage cabling. We don't do Ethernet cabling in buildings. We don't do security cameras or high-end like audio and things like that inside our companies, but we know people that do.
Yeah.
We know people that do with copiers and other things like that too. So that's one of the things. And then your competition, they're out there trying to do the same thing you are. So sometimes you think you've landed that client and they go with your competition and you have to go, well, you don't win them all, but
Yeah.
they're still on your list of dream clients. So you don't give up, but sometimes they come back around. So
100%. Yeah. So, what metrics do you watch most closely in the business from a growth perspective? What are the important metrics to you?
in terms of growth, we have a sales plan for a number of new clients and kind of average size clients. So that's obviously near the top. I also look at something called the turning point, which is a metric to tell you about all your expenses and your team and are the clients paying for that team. So if you're at a negative position there, you know that you need to do so much project work in order to pay that bill, right? And as a business, we have put the cart slightly ahead of the horse the whole time to build out the team. So I am tracking that negative number and trying to close that gap so that the business can really generate a profit based on professional services and not necessarily having to do them to break even.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an important metric to me. And then just overall growth. Like are we growing at the average, above average, below average for the industry? I like to think we are above average, so I always reach for higher than um, what the current business is doing
Yeah.
or the current
Yeah.
industry is doing. Yeah.
So, if you fast forward to, let's say, the end of next year, so we're in December of 26 now, where do you want the business to be?
Well, I'd like to be at so I'm at about over 6 million in revenue. I would like to be closer to seven and closing that gap on the turning point and have one less hat on my head, a leader who's fully got that particular discipline, and I'm able to continue to build that machine that will eventually work without me, but
Yeah.
still needs my guidance.
That's a good place to be for
Yeah,
sure.
and in terms of strategy, I mean, I've always had a heart for the clients. I want to bless them with excellence, right? So if you surround them with these professionals and they are feeling the love from all the different departments, it's working. They'll feel like they're getting more than their money's worth, right? And if that team is also being compensated well with good benefits and vacation, et cetera, then you're building something that's small business environment that people like to work in. They get to know each other and have fun. Yeah, I'm trying to put that together and make that work. It's been going well so far.
Great. That's great. If you could fix one thing that's holding you back, just one thing, or even slowing you down, what would it be?
Well, it's always adding more clients.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you didn't
Better
say that,
sales.
I was going to be shocked.
No, I always choose the growth to grow into the structure that I've built rather than shrink it. Nobody likes to shrink, you know, cut costs. Nobody wants to do that.
No.
We're constantly reevaluating tools and the way we do things to get more efficient, but that should allow us to more efficiently support people and so add clients, but not necessarily reduce team. I'm
Yes.
happy to say I haven't had to hire a tech in over a year. It's been
Wow.
great.
Well, it's a good thing because I talk to a lot of MSPs, and it's very difficult right now to hire good people.
Yeah, there's always seems to be, I mean, whether we like it or not, we're in the people business. So when people stick with you and they're not leaving and they like where they work and they've got a good experience and an opportunity to learn and grow, I mean, that's ideal. Yeah, so I hope the next tech I have to add, it's really after adding a whole lot more revenue. And with
That's
AI
right.
coming, it should be able to go even further, right? Before
Oh,
you
yeah. Yeah.
add staff. But anyway,
So before we wrap up, I want to ask you one last thing. And we always finish the podcast with this. Our audience is filled with people who are building every day, or they're thinking about building a business, or they're struggling in business. And I always like to ask, what is one tip that over the last decade has helped you grow your business? Something real, something that someone could literally put into practice, like as soon as they get off the podcast.
well, I'll combine it into a couple of things. From day one, I put myself on the payroll up front, so I treated myself well. So because I know a lot of people um, that don't pay themselves and they sacrifice So, but like, get your home life and your budget taken care of that you need to live on as an entrepreneur. Pay yourself first, and then set yourself up to grow that basic salary from where you start. It just gives you so much more peace. It'll take you away a lot of stress up front. And then I would say my other advice is to get serious about the question of whether you want to be an owner operator and, like I said, wear all those hats, or if you want to be a growth minded entrepreneur and take a chance on hiring some other professionals that can remove those hats, from your head, from your own head. And then you can build your vision. You can build out a business to be whatever you want it to be. But you need people that you can trust and that catch your vision to work alongside you and make your vision come true. Too many people are afraid to trust that person and actually pull money out of their wallet and pay them before the actual business is there. And that's kind of the scary part, but you have to decide as an entrepreneur, especially at the beginning, like what's your strategy going to be?
Yes.
One or the other.
100%. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right. And it's a difficult choice for people because it is a scary place. And that is what makes the most successful entrepreneurs, in my opinion. It's people who are willing to take the risk, calculated risk, not crazy risk just for just for doing it. So that was really, really great advice. Thank you for sharing that. That was exceptional.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So, all right, everyone, if you enjoyed this conversation with Todd, which I'm sure you did, make sure you like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies, share it with, your ex husband or wife. I don't care. Just share it. And, we have way more conversations coming. I think we got another 12 of these scheduled throughout the end of December. It's been very popular. Todd, thanks again for joining me today. You were absolutely awesome.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
You were great. Now, if you're watching this, it's time for you to get out of here and go do something great. Go do something. Take a nugget or two from Todd. He gave you like a dozen. So take a nugget or two and just go implement and do it. And it will be really great for your business. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.